Hey you guys, welcome back to video 13. This is Garden Tour 13, lucky number 13. Here we go. This is going to be a tour pretty much about landscape buffers. Well, hey you guys, so we decided to add in tour 14 to today's video. So it is also on the same property. It's Frankie's side yard buffer. She's on a big corner lot, so it is a nice layered buffer for kind of the roadway planting. It's gonna buffer her pool area and her whole backyard space. So I thought you guys might enjoy it too. So we decided to pop it into today's video. You'll have to let me know what you think. But before you get back to the video, please like and subscribe, and I will see you in the very next one. Take care, you guys. This particular lot is a pretty good sized lot for a Florida lot. We're in Palm Bay, Florida. But privacy buffers are important to more and more of us, especially the more people move to Florida. We have the benefit of a beautiful sunshine, but then we've got the negative of having just generally small lots. So having a little bit of privacy with some tropical plantains and some foliage and just kind of creating buffers has been a big part of my job over the last few years. So I thought I'd do a video showcasing one of them. This lot, or this home, is owned by Frances. Thank you, Frances Brunner, for allowing me to do a garden tour here. Frances found us on YouTube a couple years ago, so we've been doing some landscapes throughout her property over the last couple years, and this is just one feature that we've done for her. So, but I thought it was important to do this because it has a couple of issues. When she bought this lot, it's on a slope, so the grade is really tough to work with, and then obviously the soil is really tough in Palm Bay. A lot of the soil is marl, so we had to do a lot of good soil mix in order to make the trees and plants healthy within the garden. So I think that the combination has come out great, and things are doing super well. So yeah, so I cannot wait to share that with you. I will get Bryce to slide in a before picture on this house, so that way you guys can see kind of the overall change and look of the space and how much it's evolved. So, but let's start. So this is if you look at from the roadside here, this is the driveway area. So what we did is we took out her concrete and then we enlarged it with a nice paver overlay pad here, and then widened it out and then brought it over to her entrance of her gate. And you can really see that grade shift when you see this retaining wall. I mean, that's in order to make that level, that was a pretty steep retaining wall that had to go in. We do have a future plan to put in a water feature in this little area right here. That's the reason why we kept the grass here. And we're just going to have it kind of come down and then taper right into this area. So that way from the roadside, she's going to get that beautiful impact of plantings on this side and islands on this side, and then that water feature on this side. So that'll be a fun project to do. But the real buffering starts here. So there is a house directly across from her here, and as she enjoys sitting in the her little courtyard area there, she really wanted to have this pretty much as a pretty solid buffer. So what we started with is the Lucie is going to become our border. And as you guys know what Lucie do, they're going to get 6 to 8 foot tall and really kind of create a wall back there. Now Palm Bay has their zones will not, or their county codes will not allow her to do a fence taller than the current fence. So she could do it with plant material, but not a fence, unfortunately. So we're going to allow the Lucie to become that green wall fence there. And just so we just don't have just a hedge by itself, we brought in some beautiful traveler's palms. Now these are flat fan traveler's palms. I love the look of those. I just think they're just such a stunner. You see them as soon as you come around the corner coming to her house. I just think they're so remarkable, and they're going to get 30 foot tall, so they will be the focal point. They will be a fantastic backdrop as they do that, and as they grow bigger and bigger, that cool center will become more and more forefront, so that'll be a big view line as you come around the corner. And then I know this is a Florida favorite. I see this often this is a tree that was used commonly as I grew up here in Florida, but this is the weeping bottlebrush tree. I just love their messy hair and that overflow of leaves, and this is a great environment for those. And I think when they're fertilized, they're just kept very healthy. It was so much color, and that gives her color year-round. So it's been a fantastic tree, and we have a clustering of 2 here, and 2 on this side. So they'll kind of hammock together, and they will do that eventually once that traveler's palm is nice and tall in the backdrop, so you don't lose that traveler's palm as a layer. So that's always going to be our final height layer in the back, the traveler's palms. And then our secondary layer are going to be these bottle brush trees. And then we're going to have the backdrop of the green collusia, and then that allows us to have a bit of color in the front with these lovely, lovely oleanders. So these are the light pink oleanders. So these are really, the salmon grow a little bit taller, but my favorite are these light, delicate pinks. I love their bloom. They can handle salty conditions. They can handle windy areas. They can handle tough soil. They do need good drainage, but that's about it. So they can really, really put up with a lot. The only negative I've ever come across with the oleanders are, obviously, they are poisonous to dogs, so you wouldn't want to have puppies around who would chew and eat, maybe ingest these in any way. And also, you can get the caterpillars during that time of the year, but spraying them with an insecticide really does do a good job of keeping those at bay. So I spray mine every once in a while, so a couple times a year, and it's worth it. And for the blooms that you get and the color that you get, I do try to isolate them into one area so it's really easy to maintain them. So we've got them here in her garden in this one specific area, and that's it. And then, because you guys know how I feel about the blaze copperleaf, we've got the blaze copperleaf clustering on that side, and yet again on this side, just to give us some impact. Now, in this space, we did choose 2 different colored stones. We have the Tahitian gray granite, the large variety, and then in the back, we have the white river rock. And we mainly incorporated the white river rock because it was part of the first phase of the landscaping. So she definitely wanted to feel like everything had a theme and it followed through one into the other. So we didn't want to introduce a new colored rock without kind of, paying homage to the other colored rocks. So yeah. And then this was an existing Sylvester palm. It struggled really, really bad when we first got here. But I think it was worth keeping, so we did transplant it, and we've been trying to get it back to health this last couple of years. It's still struggling a bit, but it is doing better than it was. So this area here, you can see how well the pavers have turned out, Bryce. If you kind of look down that way, I really do love how we worked with the grade shift and grade change here. So we just kind of outlined these 2 sides and then did a little bit of a pop-up there and kind of created a little patio seating section there with a fountain feature there, and that's coming through really, really nice. But we're going to now go to the other side and show you the buffers there. So follow me.
You said this was my romantic spot.
It is. It so is. It's so charming.
I love it. I sit out here sometimes. I'm talking on the phone, drinking my coffee. I sit out here. I love it. It's very breezy, and they can't see me.
Yeah, I do feel like we're in like a little cove right here.
That's why I love this, the collusia here. It looks beautiful, and it's growing, and I don't want them to cut it.
This is why we're friends, because we both like this whole Alice in Wonderland thing. Okay, so back to you guys. So I am here with the lady of the hour. We've just gotten to tour her beautiful, beautiful yard, and it's a work in progress. Of course, we're working our way all the way around the yard. So we've worked together for about a year and a half now, and we've done project after project, and we're getting ready to tackle the backyard. So you guys just wait; it's going to be amazing. But Frances wanted to share with you kind of how she came about finding us, like what her first experience was. We were not her first landscaper to work with in the area. She is a retired NYPD police officer, tough as nails. And she kind of knew what she wanted, but even when you know what you want, sometimes it's kind of hard to deal with new people in a new place. And would you mind sharing with our gardening friends what kind of how that all came to be?
Okay, well, I was new in the area. I basically moved here after I retired, and my mom lives right across the street, which is why I chose this specific location. And I didn't know anyone here, so I hired the first landscaper that actually answered my phone call. And we started working together, and I explained to him what I was looking for. and he said he could deliver it, but for some reason our styles were not jiving. He had a different idea. It's very important to be very transparent and very clear as to what you want. But since I was new to the area and this was my first experience creating gardens, I didn't know how to explain that I wanted gardens. I just said I wanted landscaping. And he went with what he knew, and we kind of were not jiving. We were not on the same page.
Which happens so often. Yeah.
Yes, he was a good landscaper. He just wasn't just wasn't the right one for me. So which made me, after my first landscape experience, I went on a search on YouTube, and I kind of put more thought into it, and I started searching for people who were more my style. And when I came across your videos, not only did I like your style of your landscaping, you were very charismatic.
Oh, thank you.
So I figured, hey, let me call her and give her a shot. And we've been working together ever since.
Yes.
Our styles were the same, and I tend to go a little over the top sometimes, and you reel me in. Sometimes we go overboard anyway.
Sometimes.
You always try to keep me up. I'm the one that has a problem with budgets.
I do. I'm the realistic one of this group. You guys, trust us.
But we found an area,
Good common ground.
a good common ground,
Yeah.
and our styles combined, and we come up with you have come up with some beautiful gardens on my land.
Thank you.
On
Thank
my
you.
Piece of property, my little piece of property.
And she's making it magical. She really does. That's one thing I love about Frances is that when we first met, she pretty much told me, we're working together. I saw you on YouTube. I like your videos. This is my style. And I was like, okay, well, that's great. So we did. She told me exactly what she was looking for. I think you were really, you're pretty prepared for me. You know, you kind of really gave me some insights of the kind of gardens. You wanted the showpiece. You wanted this area to really pop out at you. You wanted this space to do this and that space to do that. And I felt like you gave me really, really good information. And that's kind of what I wanted to share with you guys today, is because if you're going to hire a landscape contractor in your future, whatever part of the world that you're in, pick 10 photos of what you love, things that just really speak to you, things that really kind of just, that you can see within your space. And then pick 5 photos of things that you hate, things that you absolutely, there's no part of this that you like. It's too straight, it's too narrow, it's too this, it's too that, whatever it is that you don't like. And give that to your designer, because that's going to save you so much time, because it really gives them an instantaneous feel for your style. In this way, they can tell you if they may be the wrong fit for you, and they'll let you know. Because I've had clients in my past where I'm not the right fit for them. Their style might be too zen, and I lean towards more of a tropical Alice in Wonderland kind of feel, and so I'll say, I've got the perfect person for you. Let me, put you in touch with this person, and I've given a lot of clients to other landscape designers that I know kind of fit more with their space. Not that I don't try to really meet you halfway, and Frankie can testify. I really do try to meet you halfway, and it's not my way or the highway. It's not in any way that it's definitely a collaboration, but it's also got to be a strong suit for me. So if I think I can't deliver on what you're looking for because it's not my strong suit, I'll share that with you. And you believe it or not, a lot of designers will share that with you and say, I'm not going to be able to deliver on this. So be prepared, and that way money isn't wasted, because landscaping, as we all know, it's expensive. It's an investment, and the last thing you want to do is invest on a landscaping that you're having to redo later.
Yep.
Right. Yes.
Communication is key.
Yes. So, all right. So thank you guys for taking a few minutes and talking with us, and it's been fun. And we are going to we'll see.
If you tell Jennifer you want a showstopper, she's going to give you a showstopper. She is going to deliver.
Why does that sound like a warning? Didn't that sound like a warning to you guys? All right. I'll see you in the very next video. That was great. Okay, so this is the exact other side, the opposite side of her property. And as you can see, this is a pretty busy area. I say that and there's like no cars here, Bryce. But normally, I promise you guys, every time we worked here, it's like crazy with traffic here. So there is quite a bit of traffic that comes down this way. So she definitely wanted to create an outside buffer. we took that hardscape walkway that you guys saw on the inside, and it runs all the way along the house foundation here and goes to this gate that's there. So that way she's able to access all of those areas on pavers and then be surrounded by landscaping all the way through. So I'll come up here and kind of share with you what we did. So this little area we have carved out right now, kind of ignore it, but I'll address it. This is going to be for a future tree that we're planning on transplanting and putting in here to kind of anchor this this bed, so that way it softens this this fence line. She's not very happy. See, evidence traffic. She's not really happy with how these the fence ended up stair stepping from the fence company. So we're going to bring in one of her trees that she has back there that is kind of not placed in a great spot from the previous landscape, and then put it right here, and then we're going to kind of draw out the bed and pull it down so that way it all ties in together. And it'll also fit and suit, it'll match that side a little bit better once we do that. So this right here is one of my favorite, I feel like I say favorites of everything. It is my favorite Rojo Red Copperleaf. It is really a nice dark contrasting color. It stays chunky and deep and dark in color so often. So often I use it for as a mix between this and Blaze Copperleaf, because they kind of do the same thing for me. So this is a nice deep coloring when I want to use something like the variegated arbicola or Sanchizia near it. This is a plant that handles full sun, heavy heat, really easy. It really likes an environment that it gets pounded on with sun. So I know I can pull out this bad boy when that's happening. The one thing that you want to make sure to do is plant it in an area that does get a good sprinkler system. You want it to be irrigated because it's going to soak up that sun, but in order for those leaves to stay shiny and not crispy, you're going to want to make sure that it does stay watered. So to the back, we have a clustering of antilou back there, and that's right to the front of the gate. So it's kind of just a nice little grouping of those just to kind of give you a highlight. You won't see that in time. It's mainly for the inside of the walkway. Right here, these Colusia, she wants to allow the Colusia to get about 6 foot tall. So they're going to be a 6 foot wall along this space to really give her that privacy feel. And I know that seems like it's got to be a real tall buffer, but you know, she's so exposed in so many areas of the road, so many sides of the streets, that she really did want this area to be private. This is the access that her family is going to come to while they enjoy the pool in the back, and a lot of times when she entertains, they're going to come from the front along this walkway leading to the back. So she really wanted them to feel like they were walking through the gardens as they were meandering and making their way through the back. So that's kind of the reason for the buffer. So a nice 6 foot privacy Colusia hedge is going to go there. And then we've got variegated arbicola down here as a clustering. And I know that this is a plant that is not a favorite to a lot of people because it's used so often in typical builder's packages. But you guys, when this plant's used right, I think it's a nice feature. You know, when you look at it from the road, you don't realize it's such a typical average plant. Mix it with all these colors and different variations and different leaves popping up, and I think that brightness that it offers is so worth it. And the mere fact that it's not a fussy plant at all, it's just really easy to work with, that it's kind of worth using in a garden. So right here, we have, of course, the false agave, and then we have a matching false agave on the other side of this curved bed. We have a centerpiece with this triple foxtail palm that needs a good trimming right now, and then some Brazilian red cloaks. Now, these are Brazilian red cloaks that were planted at 3-gallon size, which is the smallest I've ever planted them, and I probably will not plant them that small again because they're not tough enough to handle that direct heat that young. So I worked with Frankie on really trying to get those happy and healthy and fertilized this year because they're just really struggling. They're starting now to really pop up and get some size to them. So I'm so happy that's happened. And you just want to make sure that when you do put them in full sun, you're planting them with some additional water because that's what they're going to need. So these are the curly marguerite copper leaves, and these are fun little ruffled copper leaves. They're called rosas, marguerites. There's quite a few names to them, but they're just a fun little dwarf copper leaf. I don't see them very often in the nursery, so when I do, I use them. I really do like to cluster them together as a nice tight grouping, and at the same time use something real bright and light in front of it, like the variegated arbicola. So we have the blue agave as the centerpiece, the false agaves as the accent piece. Now this blue agave, even though it looks a little bit younger than the false agave, I did bring it in a little bit younger because it's a little bit more expensive of an agave and it grows much faster. So to me, that doesn't make a lot of sense. So I bring those in kind of small. It's going to pop out and be 6 foot in this area and just be a stunner in the middle of this garden and really kind of take up this whole gap in this whole space. So when you get these guys, they do not need to be big when you get them. They will flush out and be giant in no time. So it's really going to take hold. But I love that bluish coloring on their leaves. They look a little bit dangerous with those thorns, and they can be, so you want to trim them by putting your foot on one end down here and then just taking a knife and slicing as close to the trunk as possible. So that's the way to do it without getting stabbed. So that's going to be a great addition to the garden, especially when it branches and reaches out. And you know, it's just like I do most of my gardens. It's a rinse and repeat. So we've got some trinettes, variegated arbicola here, and the same marguerites or the same rojo copper leaves on the corners. Really give us that thickness and that clustering. And then we were able to get a little bit softer with the yellow thryallis. And these yellow thryallis are getting ready to pop with bloom. They're a nice green clustering right now, but they're going to have that yellow tassel as the summer comes out and really fill this area with a bunch of bright yellow flowers. So it'll be yellow, dark red, yellow, dark red. You get the point, right? So it's really going to give you that kind of nice clustering all the way through. And this, to me, this is going to be a low maintenance, easy care buffer. Because you've got pretty much almost like a hedge collection of plants with some interesting things popping out of it. So when you do your maintenance, it's pretty much just taking these clusters and shaping each and every cluster really quickly. So it's not like an individual planting. And when you're working with a long space like that, you need to be able to do that to kind of keep the maintenance pretty low. And then we just ended the bed here with a nice royal palm and another false agave. A little bit of boulders to stair step this area down, and voila, I think that this is going to be a gorgeous, gorgeous buffer as it matures, and I know Frankie is thrilled with it, and so I couldn't help but to come by and show it off to you guys, and hopefully this might be something that you can use and incorporate within your own garden. But yeah, privacy buffers are huge, and you guys let me know if you'd like to see more of just privacy buffers, because I know there's a lot of different ways to do them, and I've done them in so many different ways throughout the landscapes. And you know, with us all needing a little bit of our own shared buffering from our neighbors, I think that might be a helpful thing. So let me know if you'd like to see that in the comments down below. And as far as commenting goes, please comment True Gardener if you made it through this video, because you're a true gardener like me. And I will see you guys in the very next video. Do not forget to like and subscribe. I know Bryce is getting ready to remind me of that. And follow us on Instagram. And I will see you guys in the very next tour. So, if there's any tours or anything that you guys would like me to hit on in the next in one of the next videos, then please leave that in the comments down below, because we're just kind of going back and forth to see. We're making videos about a lot of the comments that you guys post, and that way we can help. And I've just recently started doing short replies, which I think is the coolest thing ever, because it's like having a conversation. So if you ask a question on there and I answer the question in a short, it's been a challenge trying to find a question that I can answer within 1 minute, because as you guys may have noticed, it's okay if you haven't, but if you may have noticed, I have a tendency to really ramble and talk about what I love and continue talking. So the 60-second mark that they give you for the shorts is not my friend. So if you ask a question, then maybe make it an exact question, and I will do my very best to answer that within that 60-second time frame. So other than that, it's been my pleasure, and I will see you guys in the very next Tour 14 coming up. So see you soon. Bye-bye.